This week on Choice Hacking.
Back to school, to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool. I got my lunch packed up, my boots tied tight. I hope I don't get in a fight. Oh!
It's late August when I'm recording this, and that means everyone is in back-to-school mode. And more, online learning has become an inescapable part of students' lives. Learning online can bring great flexibility, but it also has big challenges. It's hard for students to stay engaged with the rest of the internet. It's just a click away. Students forget to complete lessons or let lessons play without paying attention. And online learning can feel tedious and repetitive. In 2012, two Stanford University professors, Andrew Ng and Daphne Koller, recognized the potential of online learning to democratize higher education. So they created COURSERA, now one of the largest online learning platforms in the world, with 148 million registered users. Like many online education platforms, COURSERA's biggest struggle was with low completion rates. A study by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, found that online courses only have a 4% retention rate on average. But COURSERA's course completion rate is an astonishing 55.4%. That's 1,285% higher than average. So how did they do it? Well, with a bit of behavioral science and psychology applied consciously or not to their user experience. I'm Jennifer Clinehens, and you're listening to Choice Hacking, a podcast about what makes buyers tick, from consumer psychology to behavioral science, neuromarketing, and more. Join me today as we unpack the psychology behind COURSERA's ethically addictive user experience and how we can use the lessons of its success to better engage with our own users and customers. But before we get started, I want to take a few seconds to tell you more about Choice Hacking and who we are. Did you know that Choice Hacking is not just a podcast? We also offer online courses, team training, coaching, and consulting to brands of all sizes focused on behavioral science and psychology-driven marketing. Some of the amazing clients our team have worked with include brands like Starbucks, McDonald's, Disney, T-Mobile, and Adidas, or Adidas, depending on where you're from. But we've also worked with many startups and scale-ups. And if you're someone who could benefit from unlimited marketing, behavioral science, and marketing psychology expertise, I recommend visiting choicehacking.com/pro and checking out our new and improved Pro membership. You'll get access to every single one of my current and future courses and workshops, as well as weekly live office hours, guest marketing experts in mastermind calls, and live workshops that help you grow your business with the power of psychology-driven marketing. Pro members also enjoy discounts on coaching, training, and consulting projects with myself and the Choice Hacking team. You pay once and get lifetime access to the Pro membership that never renews or expires. Our members are marketers, solo consultants, entrepreneurs, and CEOs from businesses of all sizes, and even some folks who have a brilliant idea for a business, but they're not sure how to build it. Just visit choicehacking.com/pro to learn more. That's choicehacking.com/pro. Now on to the show. To keep learners engaged on their platform, COURSERA uses messages that encourage people to stay active. It's really a simple two-step process that gets people hooked. First, they ask you to set a goal. Then they communicate the progress that you've made. Now, it sounds simple, but it's not always easy to pull this off in real life. When users join COURSERA, they get a pop-up that asks them to set a learning goal. But it doesn't just ask them and make them come up with an answer on their own. If they did that, no one would respond. Because really, if you're relatively new to online learning, you don't know how long something should take or what the expectation is. So COURSERA gives you 3 options. Learn 2 days a week, learn 3 days a week, or learn 5 days a week. They go on to say that learning 2 days a week is their recommended pace. There's also a lovely database message that helps folks decide on a goal. It says, quote, learners who set a goal are 75% more likely to complete the course. You can always change it. And that last sentence is really important, telling users you can always change it. In fact, creating a learning goal isn't required, and you can skip this completely. But why would Coursera give you an opportunity to opt out if they know that setting goals increases engagement and completion rates? Well, giving users control, or the fancy psychological term, autonomy, over whether they want to do or complete anything is important to getting people engaged. It's a bit of a paradox. You can sometimes get more engagement if you give people the option to not engage. Now, if or once people have set a learning goal, Coursera can trigger a pop-up message to tell users how far they have to go or encourage them to complete a lesson that's almost done and is now sitting idle. And messages like these are really powerful. Research has shown that sending pop-ups and push notifications can increase student retention by up to 18%. And pop-ups aren't the only way that you can do this. Progress indicators like progress bars or even just checks on complete lessons can help students know exactly where they stand. Studies have found that progress indicators, in whatever form they take, can increase user focus and enjoyment, and that users overwhelmingly prefer platforms that include these elements. It's down to two behavioral science principles: pre-commitment and the goal gradient effect. As humans, we like our behaviors to stay consistent with the image that we hold of ourselves. It's one of the most powerful drivers of human behavior. That's why getting ourselves to commit to future behavior is one of the most effective ways to stick with the goal. Pre-commitment says that if we promise to do something in the future, we're less likely to procrastinate and more likely to accomplish our goal. So if you want users to stay engaged, ask them to commit to a specific goal. That's where that committing to learning 2, 3, or 5 days a week comes into play. You can see this outside of digital spaces too. Now, we're going to go back a few years to when I was in music school and therefore required by law to be a barista. One of the places that I worked as a barista was Starbucks, way before they were ever a customer experience client of mine. And by far, the most effective sales strategy I ever saw in my time there was to get people to commit to a future purchase. But how did they do that? Well, when people came in for their morning coffee, they got a receipt. They gave them a deeply discounted bakery treat if they came back in the afternoon, in what was normally the slowest time of day for Starbucks, 2 to 4 p.m. You had to have already purchased something to get the promo on the receipt, which functioned as a kind of commitment in itself. And the promotion on the receipt made people say, "Oh wow, I love blueberry muffins. I should definitely come back and get my almost free muffin." And a lot of them did, because they made that mental note, and that mental note became a subconscious form of pre-commitment. Now that we've talked about pre-commitment, let's talk about one of the most popular behavioral principles I have ever written about, the goal gradient effect. Coined by American psychologist Clark Hull in 1932, the goal gradient effect says that people are motivated by how much is left to reach their target, not how far they've already gone. To apply this principle in your customer experience or marketing, be clear about where your users are in relation to their personal finish line. You can see the goal gradient effect at work in gamification elements like progress bars, badges, and profile completion percentages. It can be applied anywhere users are encouraged to complete a big task by achieving smaller objectives. For example, LinkedIn uses a progress bar combined with user data to get people to complete their profiles. It has a message that says, quote, "Members with 5 or more skills are 27 times more likely to be discovered in search by recruiters." And that's a pretty compelling reason to complete a profile for the majority of LinkedIn users. If you want to know more about the fascinating goal gradient effect, stay tuned because I'm going to do a deep dive episode on this one in the coming weeks. The advantage that online education platforms like Coursera have over in-person classes is the ability to track how frequently students watch videos, submit assignments, and complete quizzes. These platforms can use this information to nudge students into finishing their modules with messages sent at key moments. They can also use nudges to get users to complete critical tasks, like opting into emails. When a user is not opted into getting emails, they'll see a red notification bar across the top of their Coursera account that reads, "Please stay with us. Opt in to let us know you'd like to keep receiving course recommendations via email from Coursera." Nudging describes how manipulating the way information is presented can make it easier for people to select the quote-unquote right or optimal choice. Research from Copenhagen Business School found that sending email nudges made students 1.5 times more likely to view lecture videos and spend 15% more time viewing online lectures than their peers. There are so many types of nudges that you can use to encourage user engagement, and we've covered a ton of them on this podcast. Good places to include nudges are those moments where users drop off, forget to do something, or tend to make the quote-unquote wrong decision. When it comes to making your business more engaging, platforms like COURSERA have used billions of data points to develop proven strategies. In fact, after I originally wrote this case study, I reworked the Choice Hacking Academy platform, which is where I deliver my courses and workshops. And I managed to get our course completion rate up to a whopping 62%, which is even better than COURSERA and way better than the average course completion rate of 4%. And I'm pretty proud of that. But if you want to apply these principles to your business and potentially get similar results, start by asking yourself questions like these. Are we communicating where users are in our experience clearly and simply? Do users know how much they've already accomplished and how much is left to go? Are we overlooking opportunities to get customers to make a pre-commitment promise to themselves? And are there key moments in our customer journey where a nudge might help get people re-engaged? Thank you for listening to the Choice Hacking Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and review it. It takes 20+ hours to create every episode, and it helps the podcast find new listeners when it has more ratings and reviews. And if you want to get free weekly insights into growing your business by mastering what makes buyers tick without being slimy, unethical, or tricking people into paying you, you can join the 8,000 entrepreneurs and marketers from brands like Google, Coke, and Disney that get my newsletter. To sign up, just visit choicehackingideas.com. Until next time.
I hit record, it drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets.